Hi, this is Michael. I'm talking to a gentleman who just came into my office. This is Raheem Smith. I am Smith. Yeah, I appreciate you coming in. We just kind of finished going over your case, and I'm recording this so that we'll get a chance to help other men out there who are going through the same situation understand they don't have to go through it by themselves. So if you could kind of give us a little bit of overview of how did you wind up here? You initially started out at the Attorney General Court, correct?
Correct.
Why did you go there?
I was summoned through a phone call, actually, to come to court. I get there, and the mother of my child was requesting to put me on child support. Basically out of spite, because I had previously had custodialship over my child, and we had a small altercation, and she got upset, and she filed for child support. She tried to close the matter, but my daughter was on Medicaid, so Attorney General Office picked it back up. I go in, and pretty much it was an open and shut thing. They didn't really care to hear anything I had to say. Basically wrote down that I agreed to some terms that I did not agree with. So I contacted you guys here to basically rectify the situation so that I can actually get custodialship of my little girl.
Right, and what we're going to do is a couple of good pointers you brought out there. First is she went in, dropped it.
Correct.
Then the Attorney General picked back up because of Medicaid. Did they tell you why they picked it up because of Medicaid?
They did not state why.
They just merely called you in. She named you as the dad. Did they require you to do DNA or anything like that?
No, sir. They did not do that.
So pretty much all they did was said, hey, she filed on you, dropped it. We're going to pick it up because she'll Medicate you the dad, and now let's sign this paperwork.
Absolutely.
Wow. But I think leading up to the case, you had mentioned you guys had an altercation. Was it physical? Was it verbal? Was it both? I mean, y'all had a long relationship? Give us a little more detail about that.
It was not a long relationship whatsoever. Honestly, I barely know the girl. It was a one-night kind of thing. I didn't even find out about my daughter until she was 3.5 months old. I went and got a DNA test done, came back that she was mine, so I immediately stepped up and became a father in her life. Come the end of November, early December is when she started basically saying that she couldn't provide for my child. And I stepped in more of a role as far as having her more often.
Right.
Come January, she sent me a couple text messages saying that she was stressed out, she couldn't handle her, things of this nature. I went and picked her up immediately that same night. I kept her from that date pretty much until April. Come April, she was basically still not really involved in my daughter's life. I was having trouble finding sitters for her while I was trying to work. I was trying to enroll her into like a daycare.
Right.
So I contacted her, asking for some medical records that the daycare needed to enroll her. That's when she became upset, stating that she didn't want her to live with me. She was just having me keep her until she could get on her feet or whatever. So finally we meet up in April, as I stated, and instantly she started a confrontation.
Now, when you say confrontation, there's two different versions. There's the textbook, where you guys had a minor argument that led to a dispute that could make both of y'all go in timeout, right. Or was it like the hood version of confrontation?
It was definitely the hood version. She was on the phone talking to, I'm assuming one of her friends, family members, I'm not really sure. And she was just basically stating, here comes this no good, such and such.
Adjective, right.
And I get out the car. I'm buckling my daughter to put her in her vehicle. Her other daughter is in the vehicle. Her other daughter is, I believe, 5 or 6. And she's constantly poking me on the side of my head with her phone.
So she's physically hitting you with a phone?
With her phone.
Okay.
I repeatedly asked her to stop. She didn't. The last time that she did it, I hit her phone away from me. It flew up, it fell down, and it ended up breaking. Instantly after that, she charged at me. She choked me, knocked my earring out my ear. I told her to calm down. Her daughter, who's of age, knows what's going on. She's witnessing this. She ends up getting her car. I drive off. That same night, from what she told me, she was upset. That's when she proceeded to try to put me on child support because of that incident.
Now, during the incident, did the police come out or anything? Did you know that she called the police or nothing like that? So pretty much you guys had a disagreement. It turned physical. You left, she left. No one was really hurt, maybe your pride, but you left and it left it at that. Then you say you went home, you guys even talked again.
Right.
And then what happened after that?
About a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I get a letter in the mail stating that she was filing for child support. I said, all right, we had to go to mediation in DeSoto, Texas. I go there, she's a no-show. The lady called me in the back. She was saying, well, it looks like the mother canceled this. I wasn't given any prior notice, so I had no idea. After I left there, I contacted her, and she said that she was only upset that particular night, and she filed. But basically, I was a good father, and she was trying to do it out of spite, but she didn't want to do it anymore. And that was pretty much that on that. And then I get a phone call in May. Never got anything in the mail. I get a phone call stating not to forget to come to court. I'm like, ma'am, I was never given any type of notice to even come to court. I go to court in early July. The fact that I wasn't summoned to anything, they postponed my trial date to August, and I went in August, and that's when the ruling was basically in her favor. What disturbed me the most was the fact that I have nothing on my record as being an abuser, physical aggressor, nothing like that. But yet, in this document, they're basically stating that I'm a physical harm to others.
Now, the document you're talking about is they had this document even before you got there.
Correct.
So could you confirm whether she filed that? Well, I guess obviously she had to file or say something. I think you say it was pretty rough what they said it in there. I mean, they have some pretty strong language
That they do.
that they're talking about. What is it? Physical abuser and to the child.
They basically put in there, they asked me all type of questions as far as have I ever been having issues with domestic violence, violence in like the home. When they first started asking me these questions, I was really surprised by them. I was thinking maybe it was just like protocol, this question that they just have to ask. But then once we went in front of the judge, it all started to unravel and to make sense, because they asked for her testimony first, and the first thing that she stated was that I was physical towards her, which was not true. However, she stated that she hit me and charged at me. She never once stated in court that I hit her or harmed her in any kind of way. The judge asked her, was the police involved? Did she dial 911, anything like that? She said no. But still, according to the document, I'm the aggressor. I'm the one who charged her. To me, it doesn't really make sense that I'm labeled as basically someone who may have domestic violence issues, but yet I was awarded visitation rights without being in the presence of somebody monitoring me. So to me, it's like an oxymoron as far as how can you say that I'm a violent person, but yet I don't have monitor visitation.
Right. I think also you said how that you completely rejected what was in the order as well.
Correct.
But nevertheless, on the order, I think it said you agreed to it.
Right.
So we don't want to point any fingers, but if you didn't agree to it, but it's agreement on there, I don't know, what would you call that? What would you call that?
That was definitely a bald-faced lie. I told the judge when he asked me did I agree to like the terms, I told him no. He asked me what did I not agree to. I said pretty much the whole thing. I didn't even realize that it was handwritten on the agreement until I came up here and met with you guys, and you pretty much told me like it's written right here that you agreed, and I stated several times that I did not agree. Even before we approached the judge and we went in the back room, I never agreed to anything. I never signed my name to anything stating that I agreed. I never signed my name to anything, period.
Right, because I think on the paperwork, and I'm going to walk over here to get that, as we can see, the paperwork have a handwritten agreement on it right there. And then if you turn to the back page where it's required for a signature, your signature is not on that either, is it?
No,
Go to the next page. It's clearly stated where it has her signature, as you can see, but the page where you two agreed upon it. Yeah,
It's not going to have it.
yeah.
It's nothing there.
That last page of where you guys signed, and I noticed in that one that you guys didn't have no page of agreement on any sort. So I guess the point I'm getting to is how are they able to basically label you as, because one page where it's a signature and yours is blank. Yeah, there it is right there.
There it is.
And as you can see, everyone's signature is on there except yours, and that's what yours should have been. But yet, on the page, as we can test, look at,
Handwritten.
handwritten, agreed. So I guess, not trying to toot Dad's father's own horn, but toot. I mean, I wonder how many guys has, like you said, went in there, but instead of trying to contact an organization to help, for lack of better words, decipher or explain what this really is, because as you fully mentioned, no, I'm not an attorney, and I never claimed to be an attorney. I merely took your order. We went page by page, understand the language, explain what the words mean, and basically help you understand here's what they're holding you accountable for. So with that, would you encourage other guys to come in and see her?
Most definitely. You've been a great help. Definitely. Prior to me contacting you, honestly didn't know what the next steps were. I knew that I didn't want to just go by the terms of this piece of paper here, but I didn't know what steps did I need to actually take to pursue for me to change anything. You have definitely given me great advice as far as what legal issues to go forward, moving forward. So now, it's definitely the ball is in motion. Hopefully, Lord willing, that this will get overturned and the judge can see basically that this was a lie, that she just basically slandered my name for one, and that I am a suitable father for my child, have been and can continue to be one.
And I think you said you have several documentation where she have actually put your child in harm's way.
Correct.
But the judge didn't even pay attention to any of that.
No, I told him that I had it. He didn't actually see it. He didn't care to see it. I have several documentations of her stating that she was too stressed out, that she didn't want custody, that I could have her. She cries all day long for no reason. Pictures of her that she took with her phone, of my daughter playing with the electrical socket, or anything could have happened to her. Pictures of her basically hanging on to the top of a high chair where she could have fallen off, where she's taking pictures of it as if it's a game or a joke to her, where I look at that as neglect or some form of it. But the judge didn't care to see or to even speak on any of that. So I'm definitely hoping that moving forward, these issues can be addressed, and that they can see what's truly going on in the right context and the right light, not just because somebody filed and they're just taking their word over my word. They didn't even really care to hear anything I had to say.
Right. And basically we're going to wrap it up, but the main thing we want to take from this is because, I'm not an attorney. I didn't give you legal advice. I helped you to understand what was written in a piece of paper. We always have a choice, like you said, you can get an attorney, but not all of us has $3,000-$4,000, but the great thing about it, you was able to take the research and understand, and like you said, God's will and blessing, that, moving forward, another judge will be able to identify the mistakes and rectify it, and your daughter can get in a safer environment. If the court seen otherwise. If not, then correct the mom. So that the mom will understand, look, this is not a toy or a game. And what I like to throw in there, being an older man, we make those mistakes when we see this beautiful young lady and we have that quick moment. But like you said, now, I highly respect you as a young man, well-educated, well-spoken. You realize every situation now is priceless because you have a daughter to think about.
Correct. Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to give this, and hopefully this video will help other men out there or even moms who are dealing with this issue. Child support is not a game. It's not a tool to get even with someone, but instead it's something that can really ruin a person's life, because if you take no action, you're labeled as a violent offender against a child and a female. And if you try to go get a business or a job or whatever, it's on your record. And you have, written documentation proof You did nothing.
Nothing at all.
So, all right, sir, I appreciate it, and I'm going to sign this off now, and we can finish working on what we're working on.